Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. Ancient King Solomon once wrote, "There is nothing new under the sun." While that may sound like the ultimate negativity, it certainly isn't to Austin Kleon. His book, Steal Like an Artist, explores the genealogy of thought and creativity. Now, maybe you think of yourself as an artist and maybe you don't, but whether you are a poet or an entrepreneur, innovation and creativity are key. If you've ever stared at a blank paper, canvas, or screen and felt like you've hit the wall, Kleon's perspective can be great encouragement. Being creative does not mean you need to create out of nothing. In fact, you really can't create out of nothing because you've already been influenced by so many others in and out of your field. The trick is to embrace that influence. Just as you are the genetic product of your parents and ancestors, yet uniquely you, your creative endeavors will be influenced not only by your immediate exposures, but by the work that influenced them, and the work that influenced that work, and so on. Kleon's example of this is his own book of blackout poems. To create these poems, he took news articles and selected words or phrases that stood out to him, blacked out the surrounding words, and read what remained, a poem. Some criticized his work as unoriginal. Kleon proved them more correct than they expected. Not only was he using another's words from the news article, but the technique was not totally his own either. He could trace it back several generations through several poets and writers, back to when newspapers were a fairly new concept. Yet even though he could trace this history, and he had found and chosen the words, something we actually do every time we speak or write, he had made them his own. Thus, it is important that you not only recognize that your work is influenced by others, but that you embrace this idea. Embrace influences. Whenever possible, surround yourself with great influences. Your own depth and individuality emerge as you meld what you appreciate into who you are. While you should study the masters, don't be surprised when you sometimes find something valuable, touching, and inspiring in an unlikely place. After all, not all masters have been discovered or recognized yet, right? Like, maybe you? While you may begin by imitating someone's work, your creativity blooms when you move into emulating their work, transforming it into something that is uniquely yours. Because you have surrounded yourself with influences, you may not even recognize the small signatures of many other artists or innovators in your work. The combination, uniquely interpreted by you as an individual, is truly your own, just as Kleon's newspaper blackout was his. Based on this perspective, Kleon gives you a number of pointers to help you get your creativity going, whatever your field. Collect. Find a way of collecting what strikes you, thereby building your influences. Kleon keeps a massive library as well as a handy idea notebook. Consider a portfolio of photos, a scrapbook, something like a Pinterest board. Don't feel like a hoarder. Hoarders collect indiscriminately. Collectors gather with purpose and appreciation. Boost your collecting by tracing your creative family tree. Find a thinker or artist whom you admire and collect all you can from them. But don't stop there. Research. Who were their influencers? What might you glean from them? Don't give up your passions. As you search for that niche that may become your business venture, keep in touch with interests of yours that are outside that niche. Let's say you are moving forward to market a line of cosmetics. While you will be incredibly busy with your startup, don't give up on the other things you love, like cooking or sketching. Creative endeavors not only show who you are, but they make who you are. It is neither healthy nor wise to squelch them. Pretend to be what you want to be, and be making what you hope to make. The fake it till you make it strategy sounds a little wacky, but sometimes your own mind is your own worst enemy, especially when you are starting out. Somehow it is difficult to feel ready or worthy. Counteract the anxiety and insecurity you may experience by literally pretending you are doing what you want to do. A negative mindset can hamper your efforts. The greatest hurdle is often the very first step. Yet the only way to know if you can do something is to try, and the best way to try is with a positive attitude. Realize that the masters you admire had to start somewhere. They were not born masters. Like you, they observed, appreciated, collected, and remixed to make their own unique product. Procrastinate, at least a little. Procrastination has a bad connotation, but the idea is to give yourself some downtime because the mind at rest is more able to create. As individuals, we have different mind at rest activities: gardening, walking your dog, hiking in the woods, knitting, washing the dishes. The idea is to allow the mind to drift a bit. A mind at play can often be very productive. Just make sure that you have that idea notebook close by. Establish workstations. Create attractive workstations, one for digital work and one for physical work. By attractive, don't think that it needs to have everything you've ever dreamed of and be a stunning studio, photo ready for a magazine shoot. It needs to be attractive to you. It needs to call you, be a place you want to be a place that you can routinely visit, and feel welcome and untroubled by other cares. Workstations are not just a location, but a time you have set aside as well. Set aside a time and honor it, a time when you are disconnected from other worries and can focus. Don't overlook the ordinary. Be ready for the extraordinary to spring from the ordinary. You will likely find that, if you are being open to influences and taking time to think and observe, inspiration will come in unexpected places. Kleon uses the nun, Corita Kent, to exemplify this. She, by the way, is one of the people that greatly influenced him. She used a medium as ordinary as a Wonder Bread bag. As a silkscreen artist whose main inspirations came from advertisements in the Los Angeles area, her artwork was grounded in the ordinary, but spoken in an extraordinary way about her faith and her passion for social justice. So keep your eyes open in the ordinary routine of your day. Expect the boring. In the same way that ordinary life can give great gifts and inspirations, realize that a startup is not all about creative energy. Making a startup go is mostly good old-fashioned hard work, much of which could perhaps be considered boring. Kleon's suggestions of workstations and routine times to work are because he knows that some of the work you do will not be particularly engaging. Either you are up against the wall in creativity, or you need to work on the nuts and bolts of your business. It isn't fun, but you push through because you have a place and a routine that supports your efforts. While King Solomon was correct when he said that there was nothing new under the sun, I realize that I am quoting a man that lived thousands of years ago. Through his observations of all that was available to him, he created something new. He created proverbs and wisdom literature that has not only remained relevant, but is able to cause epiphanies even for 21st century readers. And you can too.